You're now watching two old farts making noises.
Do you know why some businesses succeed and some businesses fail? Why some businesses grow and some businesses don't? That's what this show is all about. Business, business, business.
All right, welcome back to the Lost Dollar Business Club. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Michael.
We are missing Steven today.
Oh,
But we've got Mr. Anagram at the decks controlling the show.
sounds good.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it, and we have a pro in Mr. Anagram. So we've got a whirlwind of a show today. We'll be touching on the Saudi Arabian investments in sports. We'll talk about some real estate conspiracies in the United States. We'll talk about what's going on in Africa, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, and trade deals with the United States. And if we'll probably get to it, as we always like to, touch on AI with the new AI regulations that are the executive order that came out just last week from the President of the United States. So get the freedom and the flexibility of remote work in the lucrative tech industry. Bend your life around the world. Bandicoot is the premier course and community for thriving in a remote tech career. Join the revolution today. Bandicoot.com, official partner of the Lost Dollar Business Club. And speaking of the club, who's got their merch? Let's see if I can get that in there.
All merched up.
Yeah. It's all merched up.
There we go. Yeah, we've got the Lost Dollar Business Club merch.
Oh, I don't have it.
You didn't get it yet. All right, John.
No, I didn't. I didn't take a look at it, and so.
Yeah. Well,
He's got it. He's got it, but he's not using it. All right.
No, he hasn't ordered anything. So.
He hasn't ordered anything.
Yeah, I haven't ordered anything yet.
Or sent any delivery addresses. So it's.
Well, the selection is wide.
Yeah. Well, we know what to get him for Christmas now, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anything off the merch store.
There you go.
For the man who has everything, merch from LDBC.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right. Yeah. How about you, David? I don't see you wearing it.
The problem is I have to wear merch for all the shows. So I actually wear for every show that I do, I have matching underwear.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
So
that's also available. Link in the bottom.
Yeah.
Show notes.
Yeah. So that's like, so it's like I don't upset anybody then.
All right.
Yeah, but then we have to imagine you in your underwear. So that's
scary.
That's tough.
I mean, we just had Halloween, but
Yeah.
just a quick Halloween thing. Did any of you guys see the drone display in Dubai?
No.
No. Well, you should check that out. It's
All right.
amazing. So that's just a little ditty. But,
they did that. Did they do that at the Burj Dubai, the massive?
I think so. It's like a massive skeleton made out of drones, all lit up the sky that moves. So I just saw it today. Well, I know Halloween's gone.
I know now Christmas is already in the crosshairs. People are already aiming for the big holiday.
5 December here, they've already started that. So it's like kids' Christmas here in Holland. So
okay, you guys got kids' Christmas comes a little early.
Yeah, they don't really have. They don't sort of celebrate Christmas for children as much. I think it's like traditionally it would be the 5th of December, and all the issues around that, which we try not to discuss.
Oh boy. Right. Yeah, we'll return back to the very non-controversial topic of Saudi Arabia's massive investments in sports all across the world, which it's estimated to be maybe, I mean, they've got 30 or maybe 80. Okay, so this research said that there were 83 out of 312 deals related to motorsports and golf and the World Cup, obviously, which went to Saudi Arabia as the sole bidder for the 2034 World Cup. So, yeah, the Danish Institute for Sports Studies did their analysis of 320 sponsorship deals across these 21 sports and found that Saudi Arabia is the king of sports investing. Did you guys know that?
No.
Was I the one who wasn't fully aware of that? I know it came up on the show.
Yeah, there's a big hoo-ha in Holland because they're saying, you know, that people are calling old professional footballers are calling for, you know, these young guys don't go, you know, because I mean, if you read a little bit further down in that report, you also read that the Saudis you know, in a very short period of time, you know, beheaded 81 people.
Right.
I mean, they've made a bit of a compromise these days. They don't behead anybody under 18. So, you know, so they just keep them until they are 18 and wish them happy birthday, I'm sure. But, you know, but yeah, it's strange. I mean, yeah.
Strange
Okay,
bedfellows.
we swallowed the Qataris. You know, everybody went. And it was like World Cup in the winter, which was weird.
Mm-hmm.
So all the big national European leagues stop. You know, and then everybody will go off to the World Cup. So,
Well,
but, you
some
know,
of these.
it happened before. It happened in Argentina in '87. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but so the Saudis, of course, say that they're doing it because they want to invest in the sports, they want to support the sports, and they also are trying to modernize the country as part of this the Crown Prince's Vision 2030 strategy.
Yeah.
So,
well, and increase tourism to a place that doesn't have any. There are no gay rights. It's only quite recently that women have been able to drive a car. Yeah, strange. It would seem. Seems that doesn't make any difference.
strange way to modernize.
What anybody says. It's the good old fashioned dollar, and
Yes.
not one that's
And there you go.
There
not
you
one that's in
go.
our not one that's in our club by the sound of it. So,
Well, it's not, you know, no one really cared too much. It's just like, you know, like you said, there was Argentina, there was this, there was that. You know, over time, there's always a group that, you know, kind of tries to nuzzle into things that have generally been the bastion of either England or the USA, right?
yeah.
All the other sports represented by other countries, nobody really cared too much about unless it was martial arts, maybe a little bit. But it really only mattered when the Americans picked it up. Now, you fast forward golf,
Yes.
Formula One. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's noticing. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, when you start
Boxing.
buying that away, boxing, now you're buying away all the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
They didn't care too much when it was soccer or football. They, you know, but now it's getting into the good old American sports. Now they're really noticing, like, wait a second, when are they going to start buying hockey teams and basketball teams?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And now it's becoming a problem.
But they're cherry
People
picking
are
it,
allowing
if
it,
you look.
Of course,
Well,
because there's
I mean,
money involved, lots of it.
Yeah.
lots of it.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, and anybody who really believes that the Saudis are that interested in sports per se and maintaining that image has totally lost the plot. They don't care.
Yeah.
What they care about is it's big money. It's trillions of dollars that are pumped into it through gambling and through direct payment, and it's sweet money and it moves really fast.
Do you think that it actually has a positive effect on Saudi Arabia's reputation, given all of the human rights issues that are already seemingly so obvious in the world? Will
Those
it work?
issues are there. Those issues were
Sorry,
there
John.
before.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, I was gonna. I think. I wonder with the say the 20 to 35 age group if they are aware of what is going on in in Saudi Arabia, and whether all of this publicity, uh, propaganda, whatever you like to call it, is influencing their view of Saudi Arabia. Of
Mhm.
course, if you dig a little bit, it doesn't take much to educate yourself on what not just Saudi Arabia, the Arab world, uh, how they operate, so they're not. They have authoritarian governments. They don't have democracies there. If they do, they're all corrupt. So, I'm just wondering if the younger people are actually tuned in. Okay, yeah, some university kids maybe, uh, but
Perfect,
yeah,
perfect opportunity. If someone listening to the show wants to join in that age group, wants to join the show and tell us about your views on Saudi Arabia and the Arab world, we are open to it.
yeah,
I mean, this is the controversy is nothing new if you think about it. Because sports has always been linked to the power and might of a country, right? In one way or in the other,
Wow.
it's kind of a statement to say we're bigger, we're better, we're stronger, right? Hitler tried
1936.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this little bugger called Jesse Owens kind of screwed that party, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally wrong for his taste, and it's been the same thing ever since and before, right? Now the Saudis are kind of stepping in. They don't have athletes at the level that every other country does, obviously, but they got money. So if
Right.
they can buy them, in the same way that the U.S. kind of bought the NHL, you know what I mean? It's in a way it's kind of fair play, but their human rights record kind of taint that image.
That's
So
yes, that's a huge taint against
yeah,
Arabia. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
the cynics among us may well say, it's just sour grapes that we're all skint and they've got all the money,
yeah,
and that's why we're all complaining about it.
yeah,
yeah.
And it's a lot of oil money. It's a lot of oil.
Yeah.
Think about it,
Yeah.
700 billion, right? It used to be a billionaire would come along and buy up a football team or a basketball team or a baseball team, right? It would take 700 of them to equal what these guys are doing in one shot. Wrap your head around that for a minute.
Well,
That's a lot of
that's a
firepower.
topic that's come up on the show many times, right? How people don't seem to understand the difference between a billion and a million, and just how huge staggering those differences are.
Yeah.
yeah,
If millions were minutes, billions would be years. So
yeah,
it's madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for these oil-rich countries, there's coffee money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just turn the tap on and off, and we got record.
Well,
We're back up to record oil prices. Which is OPEC doing the thing again. Oh, we'll have a war. We'll put the squeeze on. And then we have to pay at the pump.
yeah. Well, but it's not OPEC on oil. The West, Western governments, with this concept that we need to save the climate, we need to change it because we're getting warmer. We're going into this renewable energy, I don't know, crusade, because it is really a crusade when the rest of the world isn't on board, and we're just starved. We've starved literally the oil and gas industry for 10 years, out of capital. And if you don't pump capital into the industry, production it stays stagnant and doesn't grow. And the world grows demand for fossil fuels at the 1 to 2% a year. So you need investment. Plus fields get depleted and all that stuff. So I think we've invested in the West over $1 trillion over 10 years into renewables, and fossil fuels have gone from 82% to 81%.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
So if you starve the industry for capital, when you start getting issues with supply, price is going to go up, right? And then you invest in silly stuff that doesn't make a difference.
The crazy thing is, John, of course, is that Exxon they're doing old school again, aren't they? Because they've been buying up oil companies
Sure, yeah,
very, very recently.
yeah,
Shell made record profits again this last quarter, and BP, who called themselves not an oil company anymore, which is strange because I thought British Petroleum the clue was in the name, but BP they'd invested into all this wind energy, and they can't get any money out of the US for the big wind park they're going to build out to sea by New York, and they've lost money, and now
yeah,
they're backtracking out of wind energy,
yeah.
So yeah,
So
I'm totally confused. Am I supposed to be happy about that, or happy that Exxon are back buying up oil companies again, and BP have lost the wind energy, or vice versa?
We got to hurry up and come up with that cold fusion. That's what we need. We need a new form of energy.
yeah, but don't blame the oil companies.
All the Teslas out there,
We just shot ourselves in the foot. So when you have a scarce product and there's great demand, price is going to go up, right? And that's how you kill demand eventually. When oil
But
goes to 200,
is it a scarce product? That's just it. I mean,
huh?
is it so scarce? I mean, OPEC came together. Do you remember I remember in the 70s where we couldn't drive a car on a Sunday, and then again on a Wednesday, because wasn't any petrol or gasoline, sorry, and
Yeah.
and it's only because they turned off the tap.
Well, okay, there was a little bit there was an embargo, but today, an oil well, eventually depletes, and you need to replace it and you need money to do that, and if you starve the industry because the policy is banks don't want to loan to fossil fuel companies, then eventually those fields deplete, and if you don't replace them, how does the market work? Well, when there's a scarcity of something and there's a lot of people bidding for it, price goes up. So it's that simple. Instead, we put the $1 trillion into something that's had a very, very small impact.
and the impact is even questionable.
And costly, right? It's very costly.
Well,
that's what happens when you drive everything on sentiment rather than on intelligence.
Yeah.
Is green a bad idea? No, it's we should be taking care of the planet. We should do a better job. But they should have, before they came out of the gate and threw everything at it, they should have maybe done a little bit more research and maybe done a little bit more work rather than, drive media to get what they wanted.
Yeah.
Well, they did a lot of research, didn't they? And it made a lot of Germans and a lot of Scandinavian companies very happy because they could go and build bloody great windmills.
Yeah.
And Siemens did very well out of it. Thank you very much. You got us subsidies for it for doing it, and the other big was it Odell or what the other one is, the big gas company. They all got these whatever. So somebody's done all right out of it, and then all of a sudden it's no longer fashionable. And now we're back to fossil fuels. But
well, we never left fossil fuels.
We never left them. Yeah, we never left them. Yeah, but David said,
really? I mean, I didn't. I missed that. I missed that memo. I thought we'd all gone green.
Yeah. There was there's two big projects off the coast of New Jersey, and they're just being basically. I think it's a Danish company because the economics just don't work. They wanted to raise the electricity, the guaranteed rate, by something like 20%, and it was like, well, no, the electric board said nope, we can't do that, and so the project's like, okay, sorry, we're dead. Yeah, so
I think BP were tied up with that as well. So
anyway.
Well, all right, gentlemen. Well, I mean,
it's a bit of a sort of left right wing swing from from sports washing, but
from sports
Yeah,
washing.
well,
Yes.
it's driven by the oil money, so it's good that
Yeah.
we touched on it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
give it to them, and then they buy our teams.
Well, you know,
Good strategy.
Yeah.
well, there's another big dollar topic that John brought to us, which is in the U.S. around real estate, and a jury actually awarded the plaintiffs who are in Missouri, Kansas, and Illinois right now, the sellers of more than 260,000 homes. The jury awarded them $1.78 billion in damages. Now, are they going to get it? Let's see. But that's a lot of money, and that's a big case to lose against for HomeServices of America and Keller Williams to lose that case, and the National Association of Realtors as well is
Yeah.
involved. So, you want to give us the scoop on what's this major shakeup that's happening?
So, the lawsuit, basically said, look, when you enter into a contract with a realtor, you have to offer the buyer's agent, when listing your home, a fee. Now, you as a buyer don't get to see that fee, and you as a seller, basically are paying somebody that's, you have no relationship, is doing nothing really for you. You have a seller's agent, and so the common real estate commission across the U.S. is about 5, some places 6. So you're paying half of that is going to the buyer's agent, right? So that's 3%. So 6% is already, it's pretty high, right? So that's part one, right? And it's a rule that the NAR has, which is called the clear cooperation rule. That's the one that sort of forces you as a seller to offer this. Now, they've said that they've changed the rules, and you don't need to offer a fee. But on the other side, the buyer's agent is not going to show you homes that have no commission, is implied in this
Right.
lawsuit, right?
Mm.
So, the other thing is you have to be, a member of the NAR to get access to local MLS databases. So that's another sort of antitrust, because you're basically
Mhm.
restricting access to people that have become members of that organization, right? So there's the monopoly thing in in action. So
Yeah.
so I think we'll see if it's upheld on appeal, right? But there's a good chance that I think that it will. And there's a brand new lawsuit that's been filed in a couple of other states, and going after a couple of other real estate companies. So I think the floodgates are kind of opening up. So it
Yeah,
should.
I
So,
wonder how these real estate agents are going to feel about this.
yeah. So just a quick summary then, John. It means that from now on, there's not going to be a lot of Mercedes and BMWs sold in the US. Is that what
Yeah,
it means?
if you're a
Right.
real estate agent,
Yeah.
it's sort of gonna.
Rolex will probably be bust by now. It's
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I mean, think of it. You're 6% is, or let's just call it 5%. It, just to buy and sell, just to
well, it's
sell your
10%.
property.
It's
It's
10% in
stiff.
Holland.
It,
10%
it's
on top
10%.
top of the sale price. Yeah. To cover
Wow,
fees. To cover
Wow.
fees. Like with a big F,
yeah,
which stands for something
yeah,
other than fees. Yeah.
yeah. Holy moly,
So
that's here we were thinking 5
yeah.
was
Well,
Yeah.
look.
excessive.
I mean, go down the road, Mercedes dealer. Go down the road, BMW dealer, Hugo Boss suits, Armani, whatever.
Yeah,
Buy a
I'm
house, make somebody
that
happy.
that's incredible. But so anyway, it should incentivize. Well, we'll see. if it's upheld, right? But
Yeah.
I think it has. As you'll certainly start seeing people negotiate, because when you go and sell a house and your agent says, yeah, the commission is 5, half of it goes to the buyer, but we were like, well, how about that case in Missouri, that said, I don't think I want to do that. And I don't know if people will do that, because sometimes people are like, well, I really want to sell my house. But I think enough people will start either questioning and negotiating, and hopefully we get to the point where, as a seller, you just pay your seller a commission, maybe 2%. Let's hope, and then you as a buyer are going to have to deal with your agent. But
You do
I think,
realize, John, that if Stephen was here, he'd say something like, "But people won't because they can't read." So
yeah,
that would be
David is
or because
channeling
they're stupid.
Stephen.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
so people have
Well,
to find
it
out
is
and
a
stuff.
nuance, but it's an important nuance to be aware of. I mean, we're talking big numbers. They're talking about, in America alone, residential real estate commissions in 2020 were $85 billion.
yeah.
So these are big numbers that are being taken out of the transaction.
Yeah.
This was already there in investments and in insurance for years, right? And they had the similar fight, and eventually they regulated it. I don't see this as being too much different. It's just, it just need to be done. That's all.
Yeah, it's just need to break that cycle of imposed fees without negotiation.
First they have to jail Donald Trump, and then they can go after all the rest.
Oh boy, he brought it up.
Oh boy.
No, they can't. They can't. I tell you why they can't jail him. He doesn't stay in the courtroom long enough. He has a hissy fit, and then he just gets up and walks away. So, they won't be able even to sentence him. He'll be halfway down the street having a press conference.
Change his name to Flash Gordon.
It has, well, has nothing to do with nothing to do with actual real estate issues, but
that's just me being cynical.
That's what they call orange washing, I think.
Oh boy.
Now the only last thing is that the judge still has to render a judgment on the sort of what they call the forced forced cooperation. What's it called?
Cooperative compensation.
Yeah, cooperative compensation. So we'll see, but I think that as you said, financial transactions, commissions will come down dramatically, and in some places they'll give it to you for free, but obviously free, there's a implied cost there. But so I think it has good legs.
I think deep down inside, people know you get what you pay for to some degree, and they know someone needs to get paid. I mean, there's mouths to be fed everywhere.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
but put it up
reasons.
on the line so everybody can have a look at it.
It's transparent, though. It has to be transparent.
Yeah,
and negotiable.
Yeah, I think maybe we end up in a model where maybe some brokers might say, we'll charge 1.5%, and then a fee for every showing or every 10 showings. For the video that we do, it'll be another $500. Maybe it goes. Some of them will do that. I don't know, but
there's nothing wrong with that. If they have like a McDonald's menu that you just get exactly what you pay for, that's
right?
fine.
Yeah.
Nobody has an issue with that. It's just when all these below the line fees, below the line fees. That's what really pisses people off.
Yeah, 10% sounds huge.
Do you know who's really going to get hurt by this? Netflix. Because all those shows they have, those real estate shows. Those guys going to be broke.
Well, it'll be like, was it, homeless? They'll all be up in the new soaps doing, I used to have lots of money, and now I've got nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
We got to get some realtors on the show to defend that.
That's what we need.
It's such an upsetting story. I can actually hear the violins playing over here in Holland.
In Holland, yeah.
Alone again, naturally.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I
Well,
think a
look,
flat fee is better.
go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yes.
Well, thanks for John to introducing us to potentially to a new group of unemployed homeless people
Yeah. But
living
the
living in
funny
their
thing
cars.
is, the funny thing is that the average real estate agent makes less than $40,000 a year. It's just only a very few, are reaping the spoils of the business. But the average person you see in a real estate agency doesn't, is not getting loaded. Just a few of them are, which is I found really surprising, because I thought they were making decent living given the commission, but
Yeah.
there's a
Well,
lot of it's easy to get in, and so there's a lot of
A
competition.
lot of competition. That's right.
And
Yeah.
also, you can have to turn over a lot of houses if you're talking about 3% for a $300,000 house, right? You have to
Yeah.
turn over a lot of houses to even hit 40,000. And if you're turning over $1 million properties, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
And that's a very small group, like you say, of people that are either capable of, have the connections to sell properties of that level, right?
Yeah.
or have great
Yeah.
breasts and wonderful teeth. That's
Yes. And I'm on HGTV.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
trying to be
Yeah.
cynical or anything.
So
There's
Anyway,
we'll see.
no cynicism there at all.
no, none at all. No.
Not at all, as usual. Well, look, we've got another topic across the ocean. Yeah, the U.S. trade pact with Africa. This was introduced by Bill Clinton back in 2000, and it's called the African Growth and Opportunity Act. And the idea was the way to help sub-Saharan Africa was by creating jobs and through trade, not by direct aid. And this comes up because it's expiring in 2025. There are 54 countries in Africa, and 35 of them are trading under this AGOA program. So the question is it helping or is it hurting? And there's a lot of controversy around it, because the eligibility is that you have to have no barriers to U.S. trade and investment if the African country is engaging in this. You have to support democracy, which is a good thing, and you also have to. God forbid.
That's a whole nother show, man.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, we'll have to. Well, maybe the next show will be on democracy. That could be very. And you have to protect internationally recognized human rights.
And brands.
What's that?
And brands, clothing brands. You have to.
And brands. Well, okay, so that's part of how this is being used. It seems to defend secondhand clothing. The Secondhand Clothing Association jumped into this to say that African countries shouldn't be blocking secondhand clothing. And it's a big issue, because when you look at 34 countries or 35 countries that are engaged in this, this is the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of people in Africa. And
I think it came originally from a good place. I think that was but Uncle Sam obviously wanted to have more influence in Africa.
Right.
Yeah, and I think encouraging work and trade is much better than just giving people, money.
Yeah, economic opportunity, I think,
because that ends up in Switzerland, and probably this all does as well, but takes slightly longer to get there.
Yeah.
But,
that's true.
Those Swiss banks. That reputation.
The thing is, like David said, in principle, it was a great initiative, but in practice, it's a million miles far from that, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's patting themselves on the back and saying what a wonderful job we're trying to do, but in reality, they're exploiting the living hell out of African nations, right? If you ever have the misfortune of going to some of these places, you'll see that the vast multi millions of people live in absolute poverty. It's a very small group of people that are millionaires and are absolutely raping the countries financially, and they're getting that money directly from Western countries, from China, but it's only to exploit them some more. So that's a mixed bag. Okay, South Africa might be to some degree an exception to the rule, but the majority of the places that are being visited by the Western countries and China are not those places. They're going to the ones where, they've got very corrupt regimes, and they're literally just going in, getting what they want, getting the resources they want, and leaving. And the people are in exactly the same position or worse.
Yeah, but this has only come about, isn't it? Because people just, should we say, conveniently ignore that. But all of a sudden, it's going to run out, and then maybe all these 35 countries that are actively signed up to it say, "Oh, China's giving us a better deal, so goodbye."
Well,
Isn't
isn't it?
isn't that why everybody's all of a sudden got busy about it?
Are
U.S.
people making?
senators and
Well, are the African people and the democracies there, or the nascent democracies, or are they better off than 20 years ago? You bring up, Kurt, the wealth concentration, which is phenomenally bad in many places around Africa and around the world. But is it still a net improvement to the average person in Africa? I mean, that's I think the question. And in lieu of doing this, do you just not engage in modernized trade with the African nations?
No, I think it's more that we have to monitor ourselves, right? Okay, look at it this way. What are the key things that are most important about, let's say, democracy and moving forward, and even what we experience here, right? It's access to education, food, obviously clean water, and all the rest of it. It's access to a way out, right? Opportunities beyond your borders, right? If I'm not even getting the financial benefit from it, my chances of actually enjoying any of that is zero, right? There's no way out. The best I can hope for is a really crappy job right where I am, which is not going to take me much further. And because of the level of exploitation from top down, the people that are actually boots on the ground doing the work, they are not the ones able to go to the UK and study, or, go to the US and study and better themselves. And the ones that do come back and exploit the people again. So the problem is we're not watching how it's actually happening. But decades go by and we enjoy the benefits of it, and the cheap labor and the cheap minerals and so on. But we don't ask ourselves why.
Exploitation.
Yeah,
you're saying we're not preventing the exploitation.
No,
and now it's a choice, a bit of a Hobson's choice, then, isn't it? Because all of a sudden everybody's getting all upset about it because the Chinese might take it away. We can only hope that they do a better job than the American trade deal.
well, they definitely will, because they're going to go about it completely differently. They're not going to give a rat's ass about the human capital side of it. They're just going to go in and exploit the living hell out of the country.
It's already been obvious that the Belt and Road Initiative has had lots of problems because they don't actually do right by the people that they're engaged with.
And so all these governments now, I think they're sitting around the table thinking, what's my best deal? Who's going to give me the best deal? I'm going to sign anyway.
Yeah.
Who's going to give me the best deal?
Direct cash payment gets the deal.
Yeah,
and I'm sure, John, I'm sure you would attest to the fact that in Latin America, we've seen what happens when eventually somebody gets tired of it. They come up with a better idea of how to run the country, and they go on a vacation and get replaced by somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And the country gets exploited some more, right? Yeah. That also happens in Africa on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's the problem is that the institutions of democracy in all these countries, don't work, to the level that they work in the U.S., Canada, in Europe. There's all sorts of issues, right? In different countries, it's different strengths, but it's in Latin America. You've seen a deterioration of that. The education level has gone down. I can only talk about Argentina specifically. And so the education goes down. The moral, the moral standing of the people, begins to deteriorate because of economic situations, and so people start, doing things that maybe they wouldn't do, if their economic situation was different, and so then the whole system gets, corrupted. In Argentina, for instance, now you have 40% of the population in poverty, and they're all at some level receiving some kind of some subsidy, some money from the government. That's keeps them in poverty, really.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and so when elections come, there was an election a couple of weeks ago. They're going for a runoff. The government that was supposedly going to be a complete loser, all of a sudden came on top. And so I mean, I can't really speak but in Africa, you got the situation where we have countries that are somewhat artificial with the cultural map of Africa. It's there. It's at the tribe level, and you got 2 or 3 tribes in a country, and they fight between each other, and they whoever is the current tribe in power takes the spoils, and the rest of the guys are treated really bad.
I don't want to be the power broker today, but I'm going to have to switch now to because we're running a little bit late. So
let's come back to this.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to come back. Definitely come back.
We'll do a deep dive on Africa.
Yeah,
and
look forward to that, and maybe with parallels to South America. But
Yeah.
I'm going to. I think it's lost and found time, guys. So if you just bear with me, and here we
Welcome
go.
to this week's Lost and Found, uncovering dollar winners and losers, where we discuss dollars lost and dollars gained by various companies and projects.
All right. The new Lost and Found.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, let's go around the horn again. I mean, I'll start us off with an AI topic. So 150 police departments across America are using something called Fusus, Fusus, Fusus AI camera system. And basically, it's an AI system on top of an existing network of cameras to give law enforcement a 360-degree view of what's happening wherever those cameras are. And it can connect cameras from different manufacturers and different locations. It just latches onto all of this data and creates this view where you can turn the cameras into automatic license plate readers. It can do facial recognition. It can search for an individual person. So it's kind of like Minority Report. And it seems to be happening. And the Electronic Frontier Foundation is really concerned about the lack of transparency and community conversation around using this kind of technology in average use. So warning.
Is that a loss then? Is that a loss for you then, Michael?
I think that's a loss. Yeah, I think that's going to be a loss. Yeah, because we got to have the discussions around privacy and just making sure that the people using it are using it appropriately, and then the communities know that this is happening. That's the big one. So.
Okay, so definitely a.
Okay. What do you got, John?
Okay, so I was I'm going to add to Michael. India, which has the largest digital ID database in the world, which is in the hundreds of millions, right? Because there are over 1.2 billion, just got hacked.
Oh, oh,
So
Yeah.
it was being breached, and so I'm gonna say Indians are really gonna lose big time there. So that's $1 lost for me.
ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
we might gain some dollars on the real estate commission, but the Indians really lost.
I mean, that's a big database to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Well,
mean,
for somebody, it's definitely a
right.
$1
right.
gained. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for some. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a big one, and this is why we got to be careful about centralization of data.
Yeah, it's biometric too. So I mean, they got everything.
Oh no, they got it all.
the whole shebang. Yeah.
Yeah, your face, your fingerprint. It's yeah.
That's scary. All right. What do you got for us, Kurt?
Well, two things. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. They're showing some major profits with the interest rates coming up. They're doing well, and yeah, I think that's always good because I think it just shows that we can be better. We can do smarter investing. So I give a big props to that. And the second one is Trump's kids are becoming the gift that keeps on giving. So I think for the world, that's a win.
Okay, so Trump's kids.
Yeah.
Gonna put
Yeah.
Trump's kids down $1. All right. All right. Well, David, you're up. What are you gonna surprise us with this week?
Yeah.
This week, yeah. What can we surprise you with? Well, we don't have anything as visual as we did last week, but I found this one on the way through, which I thought which I'm going to start off by definitely doing this because it's without a shadow of a doubt an absolute winner. It's a Dutch-based biotech company. They've just received a loan from the European Investment Bank, and basically the company's called Innovo, and they've developed this. I would imagine some form of AI, so they can determine now the sex of unhatched chicken eggs. It takes them about a second to do it in a machine called the Eli machine. And that's basically going to prevent the killing of millions of rooster chicks, which
Ah,
are killed every year because obviously they're of no value to the poultry industry.
right.
So it's not only animal friendly, it's also going to be an amazing cost saving piece of kit for all the poultry farmers. So a definite for
Wow.
everybody.
Good
Yeah,
use of AI.
that's a good
Yeah,
use of AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
really good. Yeah.
yeah.
Not bad.
Well,
Yeah,
Let's
funny. No
take
one
a
gets hurt.
No one gets
yeah,
hurt.
no one
yeah. I
gets
mean,
hurt. That's right. That's
no,
right.
yeah. So there'll be no sequel to Chicken Run. There you go.
Chicken
Good,
stay.
good
Very
reference.
good.
Well,
Always
that's
good.
the show, folks. That's the show. Great meeting with you once again. Remember, our viewers, to like and subscribe and share it. Share it around. Share it with your friends, and come on the show because we'd love to have your thoughts on any of these topics as we dive deep in the future on democracy, Africa, and AI.
There you go.
Bye bye.
Um,
All right, David.